Let's continue with some Batman stuff. I want to get to this rumor real quick. This is a rumor, so keep that in mind. We have a rumor about the Matt Reeves Batman, aka Battinson, apparently is being canceled after movie number 2. Let's check this out. So, Matt Reeves now has another major directing project lined up, and it's not Batman 3. Variety reports Reeves is attached to direct, executive produce, and executive produce an Apple TV adaptation of The Bonfire, The Vanities from David E. Kelly, with Warner Brothers Television producing. We know that Reeves is finally moving ahead with Batman Part 2 and was thought to be completing his trilogy eventually with The Batman Part 3. Though this does not necessarily exclude him from doing Part 3, it just puts Part 3 a little further out, right? So Reeves taking on Bonfire of the Vanities suggests his next directing priority after Batman Part 2 may not automatically be a third Batman movie. Worth pointing out is that Variety's report does not say the Batman trilogy is dead or when Reeves will direct the Apple series, but it does show Reeves is already looking beyond Gotham. Reeves' IMDb page shows a pretty selective directing track: the Planet of the Apes films, the Batman, the next Batman Part 2, and now Bonfire of the Vanities. He doesn't seem like a director who takes on projects casually. This is very true. This was established when we got him for the first Batman movie, right? So Batman Part 3 still hasn't been made official. Batman Part 3 also isn't official. So while Reeves may still want to finish the story as a trilogy, there has still been no formal announcement locking in a third movie. I feel like at this point, because they have so many canceled projects, so many DC projects that just kind of fluttered off into nothing. I'm specifically looking at the Wonder Woman movies. I'm specifically looking at the Justice League movie. Like, they were starting to, and that's the Snyderverse, so like it is what it is. But we have Superman potentially not going anywhere because of the regime change over at Warner Brothers. We have Supergirl potentially not going anywhere. We have just so many of these projects that are like, well, I guess this is not happening now. The Batgirl movie that got made and then never released, which kind of is not a horrible thing, I think. But still, like, these are projects that were hyped up and starting to get promotion, and then they just never came to fruition. And so, like, I feel like it would just be bad form because the Batman movies, the Batman movies is a weird way to say things, but is, I think, necessary considering the marketing and such. These movies are an Elseworlds. They are removed from the rest of the DC Warner Brothers stuff. So why not just finish it? Why not? The first one was pretty successful. The second one seems to be an interest amongst fans to see if they can continue with that success. The spin-off of these movies, the Penguin show, was an amazing success for Warner Brothers. So why not just finish it? Why not just give us a complete buttoned up wrapped story with this really cool side quest in the Penguin? Like, can't we just have one thing get completed, please, Warner Brothers, before you guys go the way of the buffalo forever? Like, oh, that's just frustrating. Even though it's not the best Batman story ever, it's a pretty good Batman movie. So, like, let's get it to some sort of cathartic end, please. That leaves room for change. The article continues, especially with the studio situation now in flux, which may mean Reeves is forced to complete his Batman story in the second film. Warner Bros. Discovery, and I don't know, maybe if they finish it, and I don't think they will. I don't think they're able to. But if they can work it out so that the story has a cathartic end by the end of the second movie, maybe I'll change my tune. But I just feel like it follows a pretty decent arc. We have a really good setup in the first movie, and then if we have some great world building and character building and establishing a overall arc in the second movie, and then we bring that arc to a conclusion in the third movie, being probably a Joker story, because that seems to be the direction that we're headed. Because the first movie sets up that the Joker is an element in this. The second movie is going to set up, from what we've heard in the rumors, the second movie is going to set up the Joker's not going to be the main villain once again, but he is going to be an element of the story. In that, if I'm remembering the most recent rumors correctly, he's supposed to be released or break out somehow from Arkham Asylum. So if that happens in the second movie, it's Schrodinger's gun, man. We have to see the Joker be used as a villain by the third movie. That only makes sense. This is the ultimate setup for what very potentially could be an epic Joker story, and we're not going to get it? Like, that's bogus. It's so bad. Anyway, Warner Brothers Discovery planned sale to Paramount Skydance could be a big part of the equation. Paramount announced that the deal is expected to close in Q3 of 2026, subject to regulatory clearance and shareholder approval. And Warner Brothers Discovery has set its shareholder vote for April 23rd of 2026 this year. That means DC's long-term future could still shift depending on what the merged company decides to do with the brand, which also is going to affect the Injustice games. Sadly, I hope we get more, but we might not. And look at that Darkseid. Oh, he's so badass. I mean, say what you will about the story of the Snyderverse, like, the visuals were pretty great. Like, Batman and Superman looking like superheroes was awesome. And then also our villains looking like that. Come on now, man. I think that's a big part of the reason why so many people are pro Snyderverse, because, like, it visually looked fantastic. The story was garbage, but it visually looked fantastic. Well, I guess the mythology. The story was sufficient, but the mythology was garbage. They broke everything. What we've been told about DC. Reeves' Batman universe potentially getting canceled lines with what insiders have filled us in about the future of DC. While we haven't been told details about Reeves' Batman plans, we have been told James Gunn will be out as head of DC Studios and that Zack Snyder's Snyderverse will be back. I still don't think that's accurate. The James Gunn gone, yes, that makes sense. But Snyderverse reinstated. There's too many cogs that need to be re-put into that wheel. From what we've been told, Zack will be back with new Justice League sequels and may even adapt The Dark Knight Returns, which could be good. Could be, as long as he adapts it properly. Get rid of the damn guns, dude. Our recent info actually says Snyder was approached for a return by the studio and not vice versa. We talked about that ever so briefly in one of the streams last week. We've also been told that following the Snyderverse, that DC will undergo another reboot, possibly under Mike DeLuca. Batman Part 2 is expected to be released October 1st of next year. So it's difficult, man. It's difficult because theoretically we have 3 different Batman movies now, right? We have the Batman Part 2, hopefully the Batman Part 3, but those are kind of a continuation of the same. We have The Brave and the Bold, which is what James Gunn is supposedly working on for his first Batman movie. And then we have the Snyder Batman, a.k.a. Ben Affleck's Batman, a.k.a. Batfleck. It's difficult to say exactly which of those is actually going to come to fruition. Obviously, we're getting the Batman Part 2. That's in the pipeline already. They're not going to Batgirl that and make the movie just to put it on the shelf and never see the light of day. That's not going to happen with Batman Part 2. Will they greenlight a third movie is the big question. Will they reinstate the Snyderverse is the other big question. And will James Gunn actually get to make Brave and the Bold? Probably not. I don't think that's really much of a question at all. I think that James Gunn's goals to make the Brave and the Bold movie are lofty at best. So that's kind of where we're at with the Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman universe. And then we're going